如果你觉得生活很苦，日子快要过不下去了，那你不妨来看看我。
If you think life is tough and you're about to give up, take a look at my story. After reading it, you might feel, wow, my life isn't so bad after all. I'm 42 years old this year and still unmarried. The 520,000 yuan of debt I owed back then is still not paid off. Let me tell you my story. I come from a small village in Nanyang, Hunan. I was born in 1983, so I am exactly 42 years old this year. My father had a swapping marriage. Do you know what a swapping marriage is? Back in their day, it was very common. Families that were poor with many brothers and couldn't afford to marry off their daughters would swap sisters to marry each other. My mother followed my father and my aunt followed my uncle. It was a common practice in that time. My father couldn't afford to marry a woman, so he married later in life. He was 9 years older than my mother and 29 years older than me. When I was in elementary school, we used kerosene lamps. Every night when doing homework, I'd use the kerosene lamp. It wasn't that there was no electricity, it was just that the power was often out. After doing my homework, my nose was full of soot. Back then, kids didn't get pocket money. If we wanted to eat snacks, we had to steal. When apples were ripe, we stole apples. When pears were ripe, we stole pears. When peanuts were ripe, we stole peanuts. When cucumbers were ripe, we stole cucumbers. If we wanted an ice pop, we had to trade an empty beer bottle for it. The more expensive ice pops cost 2 mao each, and the ordinary ones cost 1 mao each. Or I'd steal eggs. 1 egg could be traded for 3 ice pops. It wasn't just me living like this. Most kids from that time lived the same way. Can you believe it? When I was in junior high, I was still wearing patched clothes. In my second year of junior high, my mother spent 15 yuan to buy me a shirt. On a hot summer day, I climbed trees to catch birds, and the back of my shirt got a big tear. My mother was heartbroken and scolded me, then stitched it back together and made me wear it again. Every week when I went to school, my living expenses came from selling corn and wheat. At that time, I felt so embarrassed at school, very self-conscious. I dropped out of school at 16, and after that, nobody wanted to hire me. At 16, I didn't know where to go. My father and mother were collecting scrap in Luoha, Hunan, so they took me to a small restaurant to work as an apprentice. What apprenticeship was that? It was just a general worker. I didn't cook but did everything else. Washing dishes, washing vegetables, killing fish, mopping floors, cleaning tables, everything. At first, I earned 150 yuan a month. Later, they increased it to 200 yuan, but they still owed me 3 months of wages. The boss said nice things like, "I'll keep it for you first," but in the end they didn't give it to me. When I was 18, a relative took me to Shanghai. He said money was easy to make there and asked me to go with him. So I went to Shanghai. I've posted flyers, distributed leaflets, polished shoes for people, set up street stalls, and even moved houses. I stayed with my relative for a few months. I don't know whether he made money, but I didn't make any. Later, I stopped working with him and went to a harbin dumpling restaurant in Jiaoding District, Jiangqiao Town, to continue as an apprentice. That was in 2001. I was 18, earning 200 yuan a month. I did everything, but the boss was pretty nice. Every month he would give me an additional 50 yuan. Later, the boss returned to his hometown to develop, so I went to another store to do cutting work. Slowly, I started learning how to cook, though my skills were just average and I didn't have a good mentor. In 2007, I was 24. My father said, "Come back, don't drift around. You're not young anymore. It's time to find a wife." At that time, my older brother had just gotten married. Our family didn't have much money, just 2 brothers and 1 younger sister. After marrying my brother, our family couldn't afford to marry me off anymore. At that time, getting married didn't cost much, but making money was hard. It was all through borrowing money. I went home and went on several blind dates, but none of them felt right. Just then, my father, who worked on a construction site, injured his back and could no longer do heavy physical work, but he could still walk. After the surgery, his legs were of different lengths, one shorter than the other. He still limps when walking. At that time, I really had no choice. My brother couldn't come back from Xinjiang to help, my father had injured his back, and my mother was a housewife who didn't know how to help. So I had no choice but to stay at home and not work outside. Later, I started farming and planting at home. I thought, if I stay idle all day, I can't keep doing nothing. Can I do something at home? That's when the trend of returning home to start a business was popular. I spent all my time reading books about rural wealth. But I won't go into too much detail. Whatever I did, it was a losing business. Raising pigs, raising chickens, raising loaches, partnering with others to plant trees, nothing made money. Nothing worked. Making money in the countryside is really hard. I struggled at home for several years, but I was still in my early 30s, unmarried, and had a huge debt. I borrowed money to start my business. As my debts grew larger, I couldn't borrow anymore, so I had to find someone to co-sign a loan for me. Later, I couldn't even get loans from private lending companies. My debt grew like a snowball, getting bigger and bigger. I couldn't take it anymore, so I went out to work again, trying to pay off my debt. But I could barely make enough money in a year. I only earned around 3,000 to 5,000 yuan a month to pay off the debt. It was really tough. In the winter of 2018, I came across online e-commerce. I discussed it with my girlfriend and said, "Why don't we start a business online? The offline business isn't profitable." Because we didn't have much money and were working in factories, earning 3,000 to 5,000 yuan a month. We didn't know when we could pay off our debt. Even if I could wait, my creditors wouldn't. So we started selling clothes online. At that time we were in Hangzhou, mainly selling leftover clothes. The return rate for clothes was high, and we had to spend money on promotions. Back then we had no reputation, so we had to spend money on promotions. It was 2019, and back then online shopping platforms weren't perfect. Doing promotions online cost a lot of money, and we didn't have much to invest. In the end, because of various reasons, our online clothing business didn't work out. We sold clothes for 7 months, and with the money spent on promotion and all kinds of investments, we lost more than 200,000 yuan. These years I've lived in debt, and I've always felt that my life was very difficult. Sometimes it felt like there was no hope left. But recently, many people have reached out to me, and they shared their stories privately. After listening to their experiences, I realized that everyone has a hard life. So, friends, if your life is tough and you're about to give up, just think, many people might be living harder than us, but we just don't know about it. This is often said, every family has its own difficulties. Whose life isn't full of troubles? So, sometimes even when we're struggling, we shouldn't complain. Others' hardships are just something we don't know about. Everyone has a tough life, don't they? We shouldn't complain about society or the environment, and definitely not about life. Even when life is difficult, we still need to keep pushing forward, right? Elderly parents need us to support them, young children need us to care for them, and we also have a wife who loves us. We must keep hope alive and keep moving forward, okay? Let's keep going.
This story is not just about one person's experience. It reflects the unseen struggles of many people behind the scenes. Each of us is fighting on different battlegrounds, bearing our responsibilities and dreams. Whether it's family pressure or financial struggles beyond our control, life often feels suffocating. But this is part of life. You can choose to complain and give up, or like him. Even though life has knocked him down countless times, he still chooses to get up and move forward. His words show us, no matter what difficulties we face, we should remember that we are surrounded by people who love us and the responsibilities we bear. Each of us has a tough life, but this is also what drives us to grow. Have you ever had a moment when you wanted to give up? How did you overcome it? On this endless road, let's keep going together. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to our channel for more similar content. See you in the next video.